I'm going straight to Jody's place. We're going to call the cops in there, and I promise not to get you involved, Bobbie. I'll tell them that I forced you to do what you did. I'll make some kind of deal. Don't worry.
I'm not worried about myself.
I'm worried about you, Bobbie. Goodbye, Bobbie. Thanks for everything.
No, wait. Look, Gavin, I'm not letting you go there by yourself. What the hell? Maybe we'll get fingerprinted together.
Baby, what?
Where are you supposed to be in jail?
Who is this guy, Bobbie? Shut up!
What the hell are you doing here, Bobbie?
I can't believe this. They can't have let you out of jail, not so soon.
And they usually give you soup before you leave, don't they? They don't like you wearing their clothes.
Yeah, well, I left in such a hurry I didn't have time to change.
You were in jail.
Yeah, what the hell do you think I was, baby? I was in jail, but that's one place I'm not going back to. The food stinks. The whole place stinks. They push you around, they lock you up, they tell you what to do, what not to do every damn minute.
Gee, that sounds just like what you did to that woman in that hospital. What comes around goes around, huh, Sharkey?
No, I'm not taking any more of it! They've seen the last of me.
I see we busted out.
They was, transferring me. Me and 6 other guys, they, put us in an old beat-up bus. Smart, huh? Well, we were driving across country, right? Well, bus blows a tire, we go into a ditch, the thing overturns, and things get pretty wild. Now, I don't know how many other guys got away, but yours truly got away, and that's where he's staying, away. I gotta thank you, Bobbie. I remember when you let me use this place to stash some heat for Joey Chadwick. You remember Joey? Well, I figured this was a good place to stash myself for a while.
Okay, use the place as long as you want. We're splitting.
You see you later.
No. I'm really glad you got a new boyfriend, Bobbie. But, why don't you stick around? We can get sociable.
Oh, I'm sorry, but we got other plans.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something, Sonny. I'm making a plan to I am. And no one is going anywhere.
Just then. Just 5 minutes before Gavin phoned.
Jody, why did he show up? What did Detective Tyler want?
Did he just come to ask you more questions?
He wanted to know Gavin's relationship with Bobbie Gerard. It seems they've run off somewhere together.
Oh, wait a minute. You're not talking about an elopement. She's just helping. I know something about it. Police say they found evidence that Gavin was in Bobbie's apartment right across the street from Sid's Tavern.
And I'm not afraid that there's any kind of romance going on. I'm sure that it is just some kind act of friendship.
And foolishness. I'm sorry, Jody, but that's the truth.
Tell us what happened. What did Gavin say on the phone exactly?
Oh, very little. Just that he was staying at Bobbie's mother's house, wherever that is.
The mother's house. You see, that may be helpful. That may be all the information we need to find him.
Wait a minute. I think I remember Sid saying that Bobbie was an orphan, that she had no
Well,
parents.
she may not have meant that literally. The point is, at least we have something to go on.
But not to the police. Miles, that's something you can't do. You can't tell them what I just told you. It wouldn't be right.
Jody, Gavin is just making this thing worse for himself by running. Now, you believe that as much as we do.
That doesn't mean I can disobey his wishes. Look, if he wanted the police to know where he was, he would have phoned them, not me. That is exactly the reason I hung up the phone when Damie and Tyler guessed it was him on the other end.
Jody, that's such a mistake. Don't you understand? You could have done Gavin a lot more good if you just... All right, never mind. I'm not going to preach to you. I'm sure you did what you thought was right. But now that you've had a little bit of time to think it over, can't you see the benefits of telling the police the truth?
No. No, I'm not going to the police. I know it would be better for Gavin if he just gave himself up. But I can't make that decision for him. And besides, if I did, he'd never forgive me. And if anything happened to him, if he got put in jail because of what I said, I'd never forgive myself.
Okay, if that's how you feel.
It's how I feel, and it's what I want. And you and Miles must swear that you won't go to the police either.
Okay, look, Sharkey, we're not going to tell anyone we saw you. Believe me, we've had enough problems.
Yeah, like what?
Like the police are after my body like they're after your body. Maybe even more so.
Hey, wait a second. You're looking at public enemy number one. Now, you may be public enemy number two, but I'm public enemy number one. I'm number one in everything I do. Ask Bobbie.
Sharkey is telling the truth. Look, maybe you didn't hear about this where you were, but... Well, some guy was shot and killed in a dance...
No, go ahead and tell him about it. I shot and killed him, man.
What do you want me to do? Shiver?
The police are looking for Gavin. They shot him in the leg when he was trying to escape. Don't you see? He's wanted for murder.
Oh, ain't that something else? Hey, we're just a couple of guys on a lam ending up in the same old dump. Hey, move over a sec. Come on, shove over. Hey, I'm not... Ooh, I'm sorry. I'm not a bit surprised, though. Because the way I hear tell, Bobbie's old lady used to have a whole house full of guys like us.
Oh, yeah? Well, tell you what. You can have this house all by yourself.
No. I like company. And we got a lot in common, right? I mean, like Bobbie herself. And Bobbie will take care of us, won't you, Bobbie? I mean, you like to take care of bad boys like me and, what's-his-face?
Don't flatter yourself, honey. Gavin's nothing like you. For one thing, he doesn't want to run anymore. He's turning himself in.
Oh. I see you're going straight to the cops, and you expect me to just let you go. You must think I'm real stupid, Bobbie.
No, you're not stupid. That's why you're serving 5 to 10. That's why you got mixed up with that nutty plastic surgeon.
Oh. I thought I recognized your name. You're the guy that kept Nancy Carr in that place.
No, wait a second. It wasn't my idea. It was old Doc Bryce, and I just happened to be working for the guy
He's
at the
still
time.
singing that same old song. He was involved with the whole thing. He kept that poor woman locked up there for weeks.
Oh, yeah, well, if you think you're going to do the same with us, forget it, buddy. You just...
Second, you... All right. We're just gonna let things cool down for a few days. Week tops. You can do anything you want.
Can't stay here that long.
Who said you had a choice?
Gavin.
Didn't write a very effective article on Valerie and her mysterious friend in Lucerne.
Nothing wrong with the story I read, Nancy.
But, honey, it didn't produce any results. I mean, the whole idea was to get this Jim Deidrichson to come forward and say hello, but nothing like that happened at all.
But there was plenty of response, Nancy. I got 100 letters from people, including 5 marriage proposals.
5? Oh, any of them worthwhile?
I'm considering 1 or 2. But really, Nancy, it was incredible. Your story intrigued the whole city of Monticello.
And it was picked up by a couple of news services, too. Now, I thought that might produce results in case Deidrichson was out of the area, but apparently it didn't.
I hope what I'm about to say isn't misunderstood, but I think that would have been just as well. Well, Val, I think you would have been very disappointed if your faceless soldier had shown up.
I know you do, Kelly, but I would
Come on now, reunions aren't always what they're cracked up to be.
You're right, Kelly. I remember one I went back to a few years ago, and there was a beautiful girl in my class called Linda, who everybody thought was going to be a future Miss Capital City or whatever.
Well, this is the first time I've ever heard of Linda.
Well, I never dated her, Nancy. I don't think anyone else did either. They always assumed she would turn them down.
Poor girl. She probably sat alone by the telephone every night, wondering why nobody ever called her.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't pay to be too beautiful, does it? I guess you must have had that same problem yourself, huh?
Well, I guess you can guess the end of this story. Linda turned out to be a Mrs., of course, with 4 kids and 40 pounds heavier in all the wrong places.
Well, at least we know somebody finally called her.
All right. You all might be satisfied with what has or hasn't happened with Jim Deidrichson, but I am a reporter, and I like to know how a story ends, and this one simply doesn't have one.
There's an ending to every story, Nancy. This one just hasn't happened yet.
As far as I'm concerned, the story has ended. Nancy, I'm really ready to just forget the whole thing. Really, I don't care if I never see my name in the newspaper again.
Well, I'm afraid you're not going to get your wish yet, Valerie.
What do you mean, Mike?
In this evening's edition of the Monticello Star, there's your name and your picture, and I don't think you're going to particularly like the story.
Well, I hope it's not something else about my father.
Indirectly, it is.
Bryson daughter may inherit millions from dad's illicit operations.
Illicit operations? That's what I call a loaded headline.
I would like to know how they found out about the money.
Well, I have no idea, Nancy. Obviously, there was a leak somewhere. But, of course, it wasn't a closely guarded secret, either.
No, there's a byline here. I know a Monticello Star staff reporter that needs a fresh punch in the nose.
Now, come on, Kelly. What else can we expect? It's what sells newspapers. Isn't that what they always say?
They also reviewed the Deidrichson story without any credit to the Monticello News, naturally.
Would you also please check the item on the bottom of that page?
Oh? Kelly, let me see. Oh, good Lord. Matt Sharkey?
Matt Sharkey? What about him?
3 convicts escape in prison bus accidents. And apparently, Matt Sharkey is one of them.
She says she wants to be alone.
I know what she wants. She wants to be with Gavin.
She has handed us quite a little moral dilemma, hasn't she? I don't want to withhold this information from the police. On the other hand, I don't want to betray Jody's trust.
Well, it is a trust. She didn't have to tell us what happened on the phone with Gavin.
There's another factor here. You know, I happen to work with the police department.
Well, you're still carrying a stethoscope and not a badge, so I don't think that should be your problem. I've got another dilemma. I'm supposed to be down at WMON right now, and I don't want to go because of Jody.
I thought you weren't doing the newscast tonight.
I'm not, but I promised Geraldine that I'd help her interview a couple of the people that she's hiring for the news department.
Do you know, ever since April went to Europe and ever since Geraldine got her head injury, it seems to me they've given you the whole job of running that station.
That is not true. I'm just helping out now while I can in the news department. Now, that's my special area.
You're supposed to be a broadcaster, not an executive, aren't you?
I'm just doing what I can until Geraldine gets back or until they hire somebody to do what has to be done. How important the news department is to a local station. Practically all of our original programming comes out there.
I am not debating that. Just that I happen to notice when you're working too hard, you do the same thing with me, remember?
You're right. It hasn't escaped my attention either. What I'm really afraid of is that it may become a permanent situation.
Doesn't have to if you don't let it.
That's the real problem. I'm enjoying myself. Is that an awful confession?
No, not really.
I talked to Geraldine about it, and she had a suggestion.
What was that?
That I hire an assistant. A sort of executive secretary. And then I'll be able to do my news broadcasts, at least some of them, and then I can sort of take over the whole news program.
I think that's a superior idea. Why don't you do it?
Because we're having such a hard time finding a nursemaid for Adam, the idea of looking for another secretary.
That reminds me, guess who visited me in my office today, presumably to get some free advice about her aches and pains?
Who?
Mrs. Goodman. And you know what I think? I think she's sorry she turned us down, all that talk about fear of heights and all that. I think she was afraid we were changing social class on her. I convinced her that we were the same ordinary, simple, sweet, loving people that we all, even though we lived in a penthouse now.
Well, do you think she'll really take it back?
Yes, I'm sure of it. So all you have to worry about is hiring a secretary. Hey, Jody, where are you going?
Out for a little while. Don't wait dinner for me, okay?
Hello. Yes, Derek.
Miles, is that the police?
Yeah. Yes, I understand. No, I don't mind. No, as a matter of fact, I'd rather get to it right now. I have time. All right. I'll see you down there in about an hour. They want me to perform the autopsy on Gunther. Stunning as ever.
Thank you. Wait. I'm sorry I have to use your studio this way, but the other studio has been closed down, unfortunately.
My love, you practice here as much as you need. We must both be prepared for the opening.
You intend to open the Whitney House, don't you? No, the Whitney Dance Company.
Well put, Martine.
Oh, God, what can I say to make you change your mind, please? Did you forget what happened to the last person who tried to rob the Whitney House? Do you want to get killed?
That man was a rank amateur, my love. A professional will not fail.
But you are out of practice, don't you realize that? Poor is me, you know.
My love, that is the best reason to undertake this whole enterprise, knowing that you care about me.
Frankly, it might be much better for me if you were caught. Then I could stop living that life of lies you forced upon me. I could tell everyone the truth and start all over again.
All over and all alone? Martine, the biggest lie you keep telling yourself is that you don't care about me. So why don't you admit it? You don't want that divorce. If you'd really wanted that divorce, you would have gotten it a long time ago.
No. I just didn't want to go to 6 weeks in another state. That's what I did, what you ask. That's why I'm returning to the Whitney Dance Company, because I want to get that divorce on my own terms. So please, goodbye, I have to go.
Forgetting something?
What? Give me that.
Not out of practice at all.
No.
Hi, honey. It's good to see you. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Have you heard anything? Please tell me some good news for a change.
Sid, I have to talk to you privately. It's very important.
Sure. Come on in here. Wrong idea. I don't think that Gavin ever looked at Bobbie more than twice, unless you got his order wrong. As for Bobbie, well, let's not kid ourselves. She had a great big crush on your boyfriend, okay?
Well, I'm not surprised about that, and I'm certainly not upset. I just never figured something like this would happen.
Look, Jody, I don't think Bobbie was trying to put anything over on you. She didn't even realize you were Gavin's girl. I mean, she thought that you and Kelly McGrath were the big item. Well, she used to see you come in here with them all the time.
Oh, things have changed since then. Anyway, the point is now that Gavin and Bobbie have run away together, and we don't know where they are. Or at least the police don't.
Does that mean that you do?
Sid, please don't tell anybody this. But I heard from Gavin. I know where he is, or at least I know something.
Well, tell me about it. I promise I won't blow the horn on you.
No, I know you won't. I know I can trust you, and that's why I'm here. He's at Bobbie's mother's house.
Her mother's? Jody, Bobbie's mother's been dead for 5 years, maybe even more. There is no such place.
But that's what Gavin said. He said he didn't know where it was because there wasn't a street sign, but that he was definitely at Bobbie's mother's place.
Well, maybe the house is still there. That's the only thing I can figure out. But where it is, honey, I haven't got the faintest idea. There's a picture of Bobbie's mother, but...
A picture?
Yeah, she had it in her locker. She showed it to me once. It's just a picture of a lady standing in front of a house. You wait here. I'll go see if it's still there.
gotta get out of this place, Bobbie. That bozo will keep us prisoner for days. He's good at keeping prisoners.
I'll think of something, Gavin, I swear.
What's going on in here?
Look, Sharkey, you can't keep us here forever. I mean, sooner or later, you can't stop us.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Listen, if you let us go now, I swear we won't say anything to the cops. If you make us wait, I'm not making any promises.
Hey, you remember that I told you about that stuff that I stashed from my old buddy? Well, guess what? He left a little something behind. Wham! Rifleman. Now, me and my friend here say that you and your friend there does whatever Sharkey says.
Tell me where this place is. Except for that garage next door. What? A-L-O-N. Alon. Oh, I wonder if this place is even there. I mean, even if it is this the house where Bobbie is hiding Gavin?